friends, welcome back to another episode of the TV Tray Sessions here at Guitar Talk with Todd. Thank you all so much for checking in and joining me today. You know I appreciate it. Today we are checking out another piece of music memorabilia. This is actually for playing guitar, and we're talking about slides today, specifically the Duane Allman Slide. A lot of you probably remember these if you've visited the Big House in Macon, Georgia. I was just down there. Check out my videos. I have a continuing series of my Macon pilgrimage that we did back in May of 2024. So check out those videos. But at the Big House Museum, they have one of these, or at least they did, on display. The Duane Allman Slide. These came out in 1997. I have an original flyer here we're going to take a look at. And what this is, many of you who are familiar with Duane and his style know he used a Coracetin medicine bottle, which is really all this is. And he just flipped it over and put it on his finger to get that glassy bottleneck sound, which became known all around the world and is still the standard as far as I'm concerned for electric slide playing. These are no longer made, which is what makes them really cool, and I wanted to come on here and showcase one of these today. These originally came out in 1997. Like I said, there's a flyer here advertising the 97 NAMM show, and the Delta Slide Company was the name of the company that produced these. They were all authorized by the estate of Duane Allman. It was a trademarked thing. It was all done through the family and totally legit. And I want to say these lasted about 10 years because I remember seeing them and they were everywhere. And then about 2007-ish or so, as far as I know, the Delta Slide Company went out of business. They did morph into a little bit different of a company, and they put out some other slides. Actually, the one I use all the time was put out by this same company. And again, they're no longer made. The Delta Slide Company went out of business, and it's a big fear for me because I'm always afraid if I drop this. I have a couple of them, but if they break, I can use anything, and I have used other things. I used a empty salt shaker once at Buddy Guy's Legends when I forgot to bring a slide, and they gave me a salt shaker, and I made that work. So yes, I can pretty much make anything work if I need to, but I really love these slides that the Delta Slide Company put out. They were out of Mississippi, and like I said, in the 90s and the early to mid 2000s, and then they went out of business, which is really unfortunate. But there are some other companies out there making great slides, glass slides. But the Duane Allman Slide was put out by the Delta Slide Company. Let's take a look from above like we always do and kind of get some close-ups of this stuff so you guys can take a look at it. Here we go. Okay, so here is everything we have here. Original packaging, Duane Allman Slide, an exact reproduction of the original Coracetin bottle made famous by Duane Allman. And the bottle goes in here and with the cap on, and that was on display. It was just stapled on both ends. I remember seeing these. That's exactly how that came. Like I said, the cap even goes on here, which is pretty wild because it closes just like an original medicine bottle, which ultimately is what it is. And then it even says on here to open, line up arrows on cap and bottle, push cap up with thumb. So when you've got it, over here, you can't push it up just like you would on a medicine bottle, and then it unlocks there and you can get the cap off. And of course, Duane put this on his finger and made history. This is just awesome. Supposedly an exact replica of the Coracetin bottle that Duane used. So let's take a look at some of this stuff we got here. An original flyer from NAMM 97, the Duane Allman Slide, the most famous and collectible of all guitar slides. A reproduction of the original Coracetin bottle made famous by the legendary Duane Allman is now available. Now you can experience the feel of a legend. Last manufactured in 1971, the original bottle's dimensions, materials, and manufacturing process have been duplicated to the letter in order to assure that the Duane Allman Slide is the ultimate vintage reissue. And you can even see there they trademarked the Duane Allman Slide. The magnificent tonal qualities inherent in this glass bottle are coveted by guitarists of all ages. And then you got some 1997 prices. Suggested retail was $18, $17.95 dealer price guide. So at NAMM, if you were a dealer, you could get these 6 or less, $8.98 per unit, a dozen, $8.09 per unit. Notice to dealers, we have an extensive advertising campaign in progress. Please look for our ads in Guitar Player, Guitar World, and Musical Merchandise Review, plus our product information briefs in the new gear and new product sections of Guitar Player and Guitar World magazines. So it's pretty funny. There's no mention of a website or any of this kind of stuff. Obviously, the internet was around in 1997, but wasn't quite what we know it as today, so that wasn't even something they were particularly worried about. Like we said, here's the original packaging. It's on the back. We have another bit of information here. Congratulations, you have just purchased the most famous and collectible slide in the history of slide guitar. Now available for the first time since it was discontinued by the manufacturer in the early 70s. The Duane Allman Slide duplicates the exact dimensions, materials, and manufacturing process of the original Coricidin cold medicine bottle. Slide guitar playing was brought to the forefront of American music in 1967 when Duane Allman placed an empty Coricidin bottle on the ring finger of his left hand, tuned to an open E, and played slide guitar as no one ever had. Allman was inspired by classic players like Elmore James and Robert Johnson, as well as his contemporaries Ry Cooder and Jeff Beck. Duane pursued perfection in slide playing with a single-minded devotion which led him to his own sound. His style blended the past and present while reaching beyond both, achieving artistry which is still influential today. In 1969, Duane and his band, the Allman Brothers Band, astonished audiences with the complexity and power of their playing. They pioneered a new sound which is now known as Southern rock. Playing with the Allman Brothers Band live was the joy of Duane's life, bringing the intimate blues sound of slide guitar to the rock and roll arena. Allman's smooth tone, inspired choice of notes, and total virtuosity can be heard on such Allman Brothers Band classics as Statesboro Blues and Dreams. Prior to the success of the Allman Brothers Band, Duane Allman had established himself as a highly respected session guitarist who could be depended upon to bring a higher level of playing to a wide variety of musical styles. His playing can be easily recognized on songs by many of the top artists of the late 60s, including King Curtis, Clarence Carter, and Boz Scaggs. Duane's performances on Aretha Franklin's version of The Weight and Wilson Pickett's hit version of Hey Jude introduced many people to slide playing. In 1970, Duane teamed up with Eric Clapton and his band Derek and the Dominoes, and together they recorded some of the great, I can't read what that is, and powerful love song, beautiful, I'm going to say maybe, and powerful love songs ever played, including the legendary Layla. Duane Allman brought a deep sense of respect for the music he played to the studio and to the stage. He was eager to learn from other players and to share what he had mastered. He would be proud to know of the lasting influence he has had on a new generation of musicians. We know this slide will help you achieve the quality of sound you are seeking. Maybe is, I don't know. A lot of this is worn off. You can see it's yellowed and getting old. Coricidin is a registered trademark of Shearing Plow Corporation. Delta Slide Company, P.O. Box 774. Like I was talking about earlier, they morphed into a little bit different of a company a few years later in the early to mid 2000s. and Latch Lake Music Products was putting them out. And as far as I know, this was the same company. And this is my slide that I always play, and I love this thing. And it's very similar to, you can see the beat up case I keep it in, which is still going, but I've been using this for years. Actually, it's another one that I have a couple of them that I use. This one actually doesn't get used as much, even though the case is beat up. But you can see this was put out by Delta as well. Very similar to the Duane Allman one. Duane's is a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker walls and not quite as long, although pretty close. But I actually prefer this one. I've just used this for years and I've come to love it. And like I said, all these are gone now. These companies are all out of business, even the later Delta Classic that morphed into what it became from this. And you definitely can't get the Duane slides anymore either. So they're both great. I'm going to actually play a little bit for you on the Duane slide. I mean, why not? And let's check it out and get some tones out of this thing. Obviously, Duane was the master, but I'm going to do my best to pay respect to him. But nobody played electric slide guitar like Duane Allman, in my opinion. The greatest that ever lived. So let's check this out and get some tones out of this thing and see how it sounds. Check it out. Hey friends, so that is the Duane Allman Slide. Very revered. If you can get your hands on one, you do see them out there used. I've seen them going for big money now. And it's kind of funny. It is just a reproduction of a Coricidin bottle. But supposedly this is replicated right down to the wire of Duane's. Chime in, you guys, and comment below if you know more about it than I do. I'm not claiming to be an expert by any means, but what I have heard is they got one of Duane's original slides and replicated it, which again was really just a Coricidin medicine bottle, but those were even different at that time. The one that Duane used, and they just replicated it to a T, right down to the cap and everything, like you would have on an original medicine bottle. So I thought that was pretty cool, but you can no longer get these. But chime in, comment below, you guys, if you had one of these. Do you remember them? Have you seen the one at the Big House? And again, check out my Big House clips that I've been putting up on the channel here down in the videos below. They're just awesome down there. Make sure you get down there and check that out in Macon, Georgia, if you have not already. Thanks for checking in, you guys. Please hit that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Help me out. You know I appreciate it. Find me on all social media at Todd Beebe Music. And we will see you all again. Stay safe and love your dogs. Take care.